What's up, guys? It's Matt here with Tanks Lawn Maintenance. It is currently 2:26 p.m. Tuesday afternoon, January the 6th, 2025, year of our Lord. I just got backed up in the driveway. Only did one today, man. I got that done early this morning, and I had to meet with a lady. Just got home from that. She owns a local magazine here in Augusta. I'm sorry, guys. She owns a magazine here in the CSRA. And it only goes out to high-end areas like Columbia County and Aiken County. And she was wanting to reach. She wanted to. She wants me to pay for advertisement, which I get that. It's expensive. Starting out is, even the entry level stuff is expensive. Not sure if I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna talk to my wife about it, and I'm gonna pray about it as well. It's a lot of money every month. It's a you start out with a 12-month contract, and you have the option of moving it up to 36 months. And for entry level, I want to say it's $570 a month. And as you guys know, man, in the wintertime, you're just not making what you are in the summer. So, yeah. Don't know if I'm gonna do that or not. She did. I have talked to other people that have used that magazine, and nobody has told me anything bad about it. Everybody that I have talked to said that I think the worst I've heard about it is that their revenue tripled. And I've talked to some people that have said they've used it and their revenue increased by 6 times. So, hey, like I said, don't know if I'm going to do that or not, because it is a lot of money going into it, and there is no guarantee. But at the same time, I've spent money on worse things. You know what I'm saying? Like I had an employee that was working with me this past year. I paid him more than that every week, and that didn't pan out. So, but yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do. We'll see what happens. She told me I don't have a timeline. There is no deadline for when I need to let her know to get it started. But if I want to get it started in April, if I want to get it started in March, it's too late to get it started in February. But if I want to get it started in March, I need to let her know, like, within the next, but I need to let her know before February gets here. That way she can lock in a guaranteed spot for the rest of the year. And the way they do it, they do a story, an article about, it's behind the scenes about the owner and their personality. Tells you all about the owner, this, that, and the other, all that good stuff. And then every article after that is an ad. You get what I'm saying? And they come out and they take professional pictures, all that good stuff. I mean, it's a whole bunch of stuff that comes with it. It's not just ads, and it's not just articles, and it's not just magazine exposure. And everybody in this area that I know looks at that magazine. I know for a fact that people look at that magazine because, for one, my wife looks at it, and we've used it for a lot of different things as far as shopping and dining and stuff like that. And also, you see Facebook posts in my area quite a bit of people saying that they saw this in this magazine. It's the name of the magazine is on the tip of my tongue, but either way, it's a good investment. It comes with a lot of meet and greet things. They do community things where you set up a booth, and you get to meet customers in the area, like, just say a big neighborhood like Riverwood Subdivision or Jones Creek or Westlake or something like that. They'll set up this little event thing that they have there, where they'll have catering, they'll have some little kiddie things, little kiddie rides and stuff like that. They'll have contests and giveaways and stuff like that. But they'll also have booths set up for all of their advertisers, and you'll actually get to meet and greet the people that are advertising in this magazine. And it's a pretty cool little deal. It's well worth the investment if it's something that you can afford. I mean, let's face it, guys, everybody can't afford $570 a month. And do I think it'd be a wise investment? I don't know. I don't for a guy like me, I don't know. I mean, I've invested in worse stuff. I will say that. You know, I've put out probably 4,000 door hangers since I've since I've started my business, and I have never ever received a phone call off of a door hanger. And I say that, and I can say that with confidence, because every single time someone calls or reaches out to me, I ask them how they heard about me, and they say Facebook, Google, word of mouth. I've never had anybody tell me that they called me off of a door hanger. And that's just a simple fact of it, guys. And the reason, and you know, Augusta Lawn Care in our area, they get a lot of phone calls off of their door hangers. And the reason being is because they do the bait and switch maneuver. I'm not about that. I'm not going to tell you that I'm going to cut your grass for $40 and then 2 weeks later bump it up to $100. I'm not going to do that. Not saying that that's what Augusta Lawn Care does, but they'll come out, they'll write $49 for your lawn to cut the grass and trim the bushes, and then when they actually come out and look at the yard front and back, you know, because you can't look at all these backyards, they're all gated. So when they actually come out and look at the yard, they're like, oh yeah, it's not going to be $49, it's going to be $70, $79 or $89, whatever it may be. It's always going to end with a 9, I do know that. But Augusta Lawn Care is bad about that. At least they are in my area. And they figure since they can put a price on the door, that'll get, and it does work. It gets people to call, but you know, they feel like they've got the phone call. That means they've already got you. And a lot of times that is the case. You know, a lot of people do go with the first person they call out, but a lot of people don't. And truth be told, Augusta Lawn Care doesn't retain a lot of customers. I mean, they retain a lot of customers, but they don't retain a lot of good customers, and in my opinion. And if it works for them, hey, great. But it wouldn't work for me. But so yeah, the door hangers, I've gone down that avenue. I'm never doing that again. Never doing the flyers or anything like that. That doesn't work for me. I do still have business cards. You know, people ask me all the time for a business card, and they do hand them out to people when people are looking for somebody, and that does work. But I've gone down worse avenues when it comes to advertisement. So, like I said, I'm gonna talk to my wife about it, and we're gonna pray about it, and we're gonna see what happens, man. Because I just don't know if I want to spend any more money right now, man. I'm trying to watch every single dime that leaves my account. And speaking of which, let's go over some things that I'm going to do differently in 2026, man. Starting out, when it comes to employees, I ain't hiring nobody unless I absolutely have zero choice. And the only thing that is going to cause me to hire people is if I'm having to work every single Saturday from sun up to sundown. If I have to start doing that, yeah, then I'll hire somebody. But until that happens, I'm rocking solo. And the reason being is because I got bit last year by an employee, and I went down that story, the whole spiel with y'all. I'm not gonna keep beating a dead horse, and but I'm just not gonna do that. But at the same time, when I do get ready to hire someone, I'm gonna be extremely slow to hire, and I'm gonna be extremely quick to fire. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing is I'm going to try to throw as much money as possible at all of my debts, okay? I want to get all of my business debt paid off this year. This year. Is it going to happen? Who knows? Am I going to try to make it happen? I'm going to try as hard as I can to make it happen. I wanted it to happen last year, but things happened last year, and I just simply couldn't do it. So I'm going to try as hard as I can to do that this year. I wasn't actually trying to pay all of my business debt off last year. Last year, the only thing I really wanted to get paid off was that walker. I just couldn't do it, man. Too many things happened that I couldn't control. And so, yeah, here I am still making a walker payment. But this coming up year, I'm going to work diligently to try to pay that walker off and to try to pay my truck off. That's all the business debt I have. And then once that's done, it'll be a lot easier for me to make a decision on whether or not I want to pay $570 a month for advertisement. Then I wouldn't have no problem with it at all. But anyway, another thing I'm going to do differently, I'm going to open 2 more accounts, savings accounts. I've got my normal business account, and my wife and I, we have a checking account as well. And the way I do it is everything comes out of my business account. I pay myself, well, I'm just gonna say I pay Mama Tank. Okay, I pay Mama Tank every 2 weeks. I Zelle her the money, and it doesn't matter how much I pay her, but I pay her the same amount every 2 weeks. And other than that, everything comes out of my regular business account. I'm going to do it a little bit different this year. That way I can budget myself a little bit easier. I'm going to create two savings accounts. One's going to be for emergencies, and one is going to be for winter funds. And that's the way it's going to be. That's it on that. Another thing too, come the end of February, I'm gonna make a list of everything I need that'll get me through the halfway point of the summer, and I may overdo it a little bit. And the reason being is because I want to try to cut down on the amount of trips I'm taking to my dealership over the course of the year. I'm gonna have to go to my dealership once every other month or so, maybe more, maybe less. But there's no way around it. You're gonna have breakdowns. You're gonna have to buy equipment. You're gonna have to do things like that. So I already know I'm gonna have to go to my dealership, but I'm gonna try to cut down on the trips that I have to make to my dealership. So going into it, edger blades, I'm buying enough to get me through the halfway point of the summer. Actually, I've got enough to get me through the halfway point of the summer right now. I'm probably gonna go ahead and order another box of them and just get me through the entire summer. But weed eater string, I'm gonna go ahead and buy 2 spools of weed eater string. I go through a lot of weed eater string, guys. I do. You're probably thinking 2 spools, man, that's a lot of string. You're right, that is a lot of string. I go through a lot, especially as a solo operator. That's unheard of. But gonna get 2 spools of string, and I can't remember exactly how much 2-cycle oil I had to have, or that I used at the halfway point of the summer last year. So I'm just gonna bite the bullet and go ahead and get 4 cases of it. And I know 4 cases ain't gonna get me through the entire summer, but it'll definitely get me through the halfway point. So there's that. And blades, you know, same thing. I'm gonna get enough blades to get me through the halfway point of the summer. If I have to get 4 or 5 sets of blades, it is what it is, man. And I'm talking about for each mower. It is what it is. And what else? Oh, shoot, man. If I hadn't have been talking about this, I should have wrote all this down, guys. I'm sorry. But there's other things, too. Like, right now, I don't have any spare belts. The only spare belts I have right now is drive belts. I don't have any spare deck belts, and that's flirting with disaster right there. I had all that last year, but I had to use them. So, yeah, I'm going to have spare belts in my garage. I'm going to have oil change kits, you know. I'm not going to my dealership for that. I buy all that in bulk on Amazon. I'm gonna have everything I gotta do to change my oil, everything to do the tune-ups on my equipment, all that stuff. Spindles is another thing that I'm gonna order. And truth be told, I'm probably gonna order a spare tire for each mower. Man, I had so many doggone flat tires this past year, and a plug don't get you but so far, man. You can't keep plugging tires. I mean, all you're doing is putting lipstick on a pig when you just keep plugging it. Eventually, you're just gonna have one big plug. So I'm gonna have spare tires in my garage. Yeah, it's gonna be expensive, but you know what? You spend once, you cry once, instead of crying all summer long. Get all that out of the way, and then that way I can cut down on my trips to the dealership, man. Another thing I'm gonna do differently, man. I'm gonna watch the way I do things as far as my work. My routine. I've got a routine down. The way I do things is typically I'll run a stick edger, I'll mow everything, then I'll come back and edge trim everything with a weed eater. But the way I always do that is I'll go around the sidewalk, the driveway, the house, the fence, you name it. Well, this time I'm not edging the street, I'm not edging the sidewalks, I'm not edging driveways. And don't get me wrong, if there's a spot sticking up that I couldn't get to with the mower deck, because the driveway sticks up higher than the grass, yeah, I'll need that. But other than that, nah, I'm not weed eating all that stuff. I've got to cut down on my string use. I've got to cut down on my fuel use. And when I say watching everything I do and the way I do things, I mean as far as all the way to which mower I use and which power head I'm using for whatever job I'm doing. And the reason I'm saying that is because for some reason, I don't know why, but ever since I bought that 9010 blower, man, I bought that thing, I want to say I bought that thing in 2021 or 2022, I don't remember, but ever since I bought that, that's been my go-to blower. I love that blower. It's powerful. It's very heavy. It's heavy as hell, but that blower is powerful, man. There's nothing like it out there unless you're getting a stand-on blower. But it's kind of overkill, man. It really is. And that blower uses a lot of gas. And let's face it, guys, if you don't understand this, then you're definitely not smart. Fuel mix is a lot more expensive, or mixed fuel is a lot more expensive than unleaded gasoline. Just simple as that, guys. You gotta factor in you gotta think about this, man. For your stick equipment and your blowers, you're probably using non-ethanol gas. That's what you should be using. I'm using non-ethanol gas, and non-ethanol gas in my area is $5.20 a gallon for regular non-ethanol gas. And that's all I get. I don't buy mid-grade or premium or anything else. I buy regular non-ethanol fuel, and it's $5.20 a gallon. And then also, every gallon you're using one of them little bitty 1 gallon mixed jugs. So not only is it $5 a gallon, might as well go ahead and add another $1 or $2 to that gallon for that mixed fuel jug. So we're just gonna say $6 a gallon. That Echo 9010 blower has a half-gallon tank on it. You will burn through that half a gallon of gas so quick it ain't even funny, man. That doggone motor on that thing is so big and so powerful, it uses a boatload of gas. So yeah, I'm gonna watch out on I'm gonna keep an eye on my fuel usage and what equipment I use. Same way with my power heads, my combis. You know, I've got the KM91 and I've got the KM131. I really only use that KM131 if I'm edging a brand new edge that is overgrown, because with the 91 it will get bogged down. That 131, it just goes straight through it like butter, man. It's like that stuff ain't even there. So that's really the only time I'm going to be using that 131. I will be using the 91. I probably am going to get me another 91 combi, just because of the simple fact I need to get another power head. I've got the, you know, I've got the straight shaft edger, I've got the articulating head trimmer, and I've got the pole saw attachment with all the extensions. It's 2 extensions that I have for it, and I would like to have it to where my edger stays on one combi and my hedger stays on another combi. That way I ain't got to keep swapping them around and changing them out, this, that, and the other. So I will be looking into that. That's another $400, $500 for a power head right there. But you spend once, you cry once. You know what I mean? Buy once, cry once. Get all that out of the way. But yeah, just simple things like that, you know. And there's not going to be as much double mowing this year, guys. I mean, just simple as that. And I say that because I'm going to try something a little bit different this year. I'm going to recommend to all of my bi-weekly customers that, for the most part, most of my customers, their lawns are pretty nice. You know, they're not, all of them aren't plush, manicured, golf course lawns, you know, but they are pretty nice where they're not chock full of weeds and stuff like that. They'll have bare spots here and there, but they're not full of weeds. And it's not a case where you ain't got no choice but to go over it twice to break up some of the clumps because of the weeds that stick together. I do have a few like that, but those that are like that, I'm going to give them the option this year. We're going bi-weekly until the summertime gets here. Once June gets here, we're going weekly. If you can't deal with it, the price is going up. Simple as that. And because for one, I'm spending too much time in these yards trying to break up clumps like that. And for two, that's a lot of fuel. That's a lot of fuel that's getting used. You think about it, guys. Every time you cut that yard, that's fuel that's getting used. Then if you have to go over it twice, you're using twice the amount of fuel. So, but little things like that, man. And I'm going to tighten up my routes a little bit. Another thing that's going to happen, as far as scheduling goes, your scheduled day is your scheduled day. Okay? If you got a plumber coming over and he's got to keep going back and forth from the meter to the house, to the meter to the house, things like that, to cut the water on and off, all that good stuff. I get all that. I understand all that. But if he can't work, if it's a situation where y'all don't want us working around each other, that's your problem, man. That ain't my problem. Hey, if I text you the night before and tell you I'm coming, and you're like, come back tomorrow, I've got a plumber working in my yard. No, that's not going to work. I'm not coming back tomorrow. We'll do this one or two ways. And this is where I'm at on this. I'm normally in the same area every single day, or in that same area on the same day every single week. Let's just say I'm in Summerlin neighborhood, my neighborhood. Let's just say I'm in my neighborhood on Mondays. I'll be right back in this neighborhood next Monday. May not be servicing the same properties, but I'm in this same neighborhood every Monday. Everything along William Few Parkway right here, this one corridor, I'm in these neighborhoods every single Monday. So I'll be back next Monday. And then when I come back, you're going back to your normal schedule. So you're getting cut 2 weeks in a row, whether you want it or not. And if you don't like that, do what you got to do, man. And this is the reason. I'm not saying that to be a jerk. I'm not saying that to be harsh or anything like that. But all you out there as a business owner, you understand. You've got to understand, guys. There is a lot of stress, and there's a lot of different factors that can make you and break you in business. You've got to be able to control what you can. You've got to keep stress at a minimum, and you've got to keep loss at a minimum. You have to. If you don't, you'll go out of business and you'll pull your doggone hair out. You really will. So I'm not saying that to be a jerk, and I'm not doing all this way to be harsh or brash or to be a jerk or anything like that. But I've been through so much over the past 5 years in my business and with my business as far as stress goes and money loss, especially this past year. I lost so much money this past year. It is forcing me to do this. It is forcing me to do it. I've got to change, guys. If not, it ain't gonna work. Simple as that. And you can't lose the amount of money I lost this past year. You can't do that every single year. If you do, you're just simply not gonna stay in business long. And yes, this last year, all of it wasn't the customer's fault, but at the same time, all of it wasn't my fault. And nobody saw this coming. These are the kind of things that you just simply don't prepare for. I mean, I just had a huge streak of bad luck, and that's got to change, man. I got to be able to control as much as I can. And if I can't do something to mitigate that some, then I don't know what to tell you. Simple as that. But yeah, your scheduled day is your scheduled day. If for some reason I can't come out that day, I'll be out there the following week, and then the following week after that to keep it on schedule. And I've got everything scheduled a certain way for a reason. For one, it's for efficiency, and for two, I can't handle but so much in a day. And but I am going to start working, planning everything, scheduling everything from 8 to 3. Okay, I'm not going to be scheduling from 8 to 5. Simple as that. And not that I don't want to work 8 to 5. I have no problem working 8 to 5, and I ain't got no problem working 8 to 6. I have zero problems with any of that. And but the problem is I have 2 young boys that are playing sports, and I want to be there for them, man. I want to be there. So I can't be working past 5 o'clock every day. And if you start scheduling stuff 8 to 5, you're going to work past 5. Simple as that. So I want to give myself enough time to come home, get a shower, get some supper, and get to my boys' ball games. Simple as that. And I want to actually have a life. I work to live. I don't live to work. I started my business because I wanted to have a life. I wanted to be there for my family. I couldn't do that at my last job. I want to be able to do that. So, as simple as that, man. Working 8 to 3. If I have to work some Saturdays to make up or to catch up, I'm not above it, guys. I really ain't. I have no problem. I don't want to work Saturdays. I don't know anybody. Man, I don't know anybody that wants to work every single Saturday for regular money. But the reality is, man, in this business, kind of sign up for it. You got too many factors out there that can stop you from making your paycheck in a day. And now, don't get me wrong, if it's a little small rainstorm, something like that, and it knocks me an hour behind, 2 hours behind, yeah, I'll go ahead and work on through the day to get it done that way to keep me from working a Saturday. But if I get behind because of a breakdown or rained all day long, couldn't, hey man, that's why you leave Saturday open. That's why you leave Fridays open. That way you'll have days to make up for rain. So yeah, I'm not against working on Saturdays. And also, I'm actually going to plan on working Saturdays a lot more this year. I'm going to schedule a lot more than what I used to. Last year, I was adamant that I was not working on Fridays and I was not working on Saturdays. Well, I've changed, guys. I've changed. I'm wanting to grow. So, I'm still going to do maintenance Monday through Thursday. That's when it's going to be scheduled. But other than that, man, I'm not scheduling maintenance on Fridays and Saturdays. Just simply not going to happen. But I am going to schedule landscaping stuff and big bush jobs and tree jobs and things like that on Fridays and Saturdays. You got to make the money while you can. And doing those extra jobs, a lot of times those extra jobs can add up to what you would make on one property for a year. So, yeah, not above it. Not above it at all. And another thing too, man, I'm gonna test the waters on several different things this year. I've got 2 jobs coming up that I'm gonna try as hard as I can to get done before this month's over. And at the end of this week, I'm gonna go measure another side job, and hopefully I can get it. It's actually a small side job. It shouldn't take no more than 3 pallets. I don't know for sure yet, but it shouldn't be no more than 3 pallets. And so I imagine it'd probably be anywhere from $1,500 to $2,000. But I'm gonna test the waters on all that. And I said I was gonna change my name at the very beginning of this year. I think I'm gonna hold off on that. I'm gonna test the waters a little bit. I'm gonna advertise it a little bit more as far as landscaping goes, to try to get some phone calls on that kind of stuff. But I'm not gonna change my name until I decide that it is definitely something that I want to do all the time, and that way, it's several different things. I want to make sure I'm not going to have problems renting equipment. I'm not going to have problems, and I'm actually going to enjoy doing this kind of work. So I'm gonna hold off on changing my name, and I'm gonna rent equipment until it gets to a point where it just makes more sense for me to buy the equipment. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, but yeah, man, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. The way I'm pricing things has changed. I'm not doing the monthly payments anymore. I'm not forcing contracts on anybody anymore. There will be stipulations, I'm not chasing money this year. I've got some customers that I'm dropping. I'm not coming back. Simple as that. And over the next 2 weeks, I will be sending out emails and text messages letting them know that I am not coming back. And I'm not going to be rude about it. Just going to tell them that I'm no longer going to be able to service their property. I don't have to give them a reason or anything like that. As long as they don't ask me the question why. I've said this before, guys. If you're someone that can't handle the truth, don't ask why. Simply just don't ask why. But if they ask me why, I'll tell them. I'll be straight up honest with them. And if they continue to harass me about it, I just simply block their number. Simple as that. But I do have some customers that I'm dropping this year. I just think it'd be best for us to part ways. Things just ain't working out, whether it be chasing money or customers nitpicking me or watching me work. You're not going to micromanage me. I'm not doing that. So, but everybody is going to be on a little bit shorter leash. I'm not putting everybody on a short leash, but I'm not giving everybody the same amount of chances that I always have. You know, I've always put everybody on the 3-strike rule. You know, if I have to call you 3 times to get my money, you know, after I get my money, you're done. Or if you do me like that 3 times, you're done. No, man, you get 2 chances with me. The first time, whatever it may be, you know, if it's dealing with excess toys, water hoses, chairs, things like that I got to move out of the way to work in your yard. First time, I'm going to let you know, and then you're on notice after that. And if it happens again, I'm just not going to service your property. Simple as that. Chasing money, man. I'm not going to chase money all year long. I'm just not going to do that. I'm going to, you know, if you owe me money, be honest with me. Tell me you can't afford it. But here's the thing. I need you to call me before the service is rendered. Let me know before I come out and drop the gate on your property that, hey man, I'm kind of tight on money this week. Can you skip and kind of hold off and maybe catch me on the next go around? If you're honest with me and you let me know that before I service your property, I'm going to go ahead and service the property and tell you, hey man, no sweat. Just pay me when you get it. I get it, man. I get it. I'm human. Life happens. I completely understand that. But man, you got to be honest with me. If I'm calling you and texting you and you're avoiding me and ignoring me and all that good stuff, man, I ain't good with that. I got to have my money. I do. And it's just simple as that, man. Money is like oxygen in business. You've got to have it or you ain't going to survive. So that's the way that's going to go. And also, if you call me and be like, hey, my grass don't need to be cut, man, you get 2 chances with me. I've been giving people 3 chances. You get 2 chances with me. I'm not dealing with that. Because sometimes people will text me and be like, hey man, my grass don't need to be cut. And I'll get there on their next service day. There's been some times where people would let me know, hey, my grass don't need to be cut. And then I'd be like, all right, cool. Expect to go out there in 2 weeks. And next thing you know, the following week, they're calling me, hey, when are you coming out? My grass is getting kind of high. I'll be out there next week on your next scheduled day. Simple as that. Look, man, you don't get to change the schedule like that. So you get 2 chances with me. If I go out there that next time and it's sky high, I'm gonna let you know, like, hey, look, we're not gonna do this. I'm gonna add a fee to it, and if you do it again, I'm letting you go. Simple as that. But there's certain things in business, you know, I've learned a lot, and here's the thing, man. I know a lot of you listening to this are probably thinking, man, that's a good way to go out of business. I used to think the same way, guys. I used to think the same way. But here's the thing, man. You have got to protect yourself, okay? If you let people push you around and run all over you and dictate how you're going to run your business, you don't have a business. You have a job. Simple as that. I mean, and that's the truth. That's the truth. You've got to run your business the way you want it to be ran. You create a model. You stick to that model. Don't let other people persuade you to change that model. If you change it for one person, you're going to have to change it for everybody. Simple as that. So, you can call me harsh. You can call me mean. You can call me stupid. You can say, oh man, you're going to lose every customer you got. That's the way it's going to be, guys. Simple as that. I don't owe you an explanation. I don't owe anybody an explanation. This is the way my business is going to be ran, and I'm not going to question you on how you do things on your business. But yeah, I'm not recommending all of you do things the way that I do it. I'm doing things the way that I'm doing it because I have learned over the years that this is going to be the best way moving forward. And when it is necessary for me to change, I will change. Another thing too, I failed to mention, I'm not doing year-round payments anymore, or monthly payers. I'm not doing that anymore. The ones that are already on that, they're grandfathered in. I'm going to leave them like that. They're slowly but surely trickling out. But when you're doing monthly payments and you've got it broke down, they're paying for a certain amount of services every month, where they're paying the same amount every month. You lose money like that, man, because people some people just don't understand contracts, and you don't lose a ton of money doing that, but you do lose money. So I'm not doing that anymore. Everything from now on will be pay per service. So my minimum moving forward is $80 per service. And you know, if you've got 1 or 2 bushes in your yard, it ain't gonna take but a minute or two, and I'm gonna be there for a grand total of 20 or 30 minutes at your place, no problem. I'll throw those couple bushes in. But if I'm gonna be there longer than 30 minutes, that price is going up. But other than that, the minimum is $80, and it's going up from there. Simple as that, man. And I'm definitely not including a whole bunch of bushes, and I'm definitely not doing monthly payers anymore. But from here on out, everybody will get a flyer when they call me out to do a quote. That flyer will have my list of services on it, and that way this is something I dealt with this year, man. I had a lot of people get a lot of landscaping stuff done this year by other companies because they didn't know that I offered those services. That's my fault. I have nobody to blame but myself on that, man. And so I'm nipping that in the bud right now. From now on, you call me out to quote your property, I'm giving you a quote to cut your grass. I'm giving you a quote to trim your bushes. You know what? I'm not even going to give you a quote to trim your bushes right then, but I'm going to give you a quote to cut your grass. But I'm also going to hand you a flyer that has my list of services on it. That way, if you need sod done, you ain't got to call somebody else. You need a sprinkler head replaced, you ain't got to call somebody else. You want some mulch, pine straw, you want your bushes cut, you ain't got to call nobody else. You need some plants installed, you need a new plant bed installed or created, you ain't got to call nobody else. You're going to know exactly what it is that I do and don't do. But like I said, guys, I don't recommend that you do things the way I'm doing it. It may not work for you. Every area is different. Every market is different. Every business is different. And every customer is different. You may be targeting a different demographic of people than I am. I'm targeting high-end customers. I want to make the most amount of money that I possibly can make. Who doesn't, right? But at the same time, I'm also wanting to be as efficient as possible doing so. But hey, man, like I said, this may work for you, it may not. Figure out what works best for you and move forward with that plan. But that's my plan moving forward for 2026. And look, man, I hope y'all got something out of it. If you think I'm stupid for any of these ideas that I spit out, hey, man, that's cool. Let me know down in the comments why you think I'm an idiot. But and look, man, you're not gonna hurt my feelings. I get called an idiot by my wife every single day, so you can't hurt my feelings. I'm a blue collar man. But look, hey, let me know down in the comments below what you think about this. And look, man, y'all be blessed out there. Until the next video, y'all keep cutting that grass, keep making that money. Holla at y'all.